This is a special presentation. Welcome to the Inside Track, presented by Red Shores. Here is your host, Peter McPhee.
Well, thanks very much, and welcome to another edition of the Inside Track. Tonight I have Cornwall driver Corey MacPherson with us tonight, and Corey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. I'm going to ask you a little bit early about your career. Some of your first memories of harness racing as a child growing up on Prince Edward Island.
I kind of got started down around my grandfather's place and got addicted to horses down there, and he always had 2 or 3 around, and I just played down there that was my start.
And what were some of the people, a few of the people you mentioned, your grandfather, but were there others that kind of got you interested in the sport?
Mostly my grandfather for sure. My uncles owned a couple and my cousins, but my grandfather for sure.
Right on. Now you started out on the matinee tracks. Tell us a little bit about how you got your start on those matinee tracks here.
Well, I kind of caught the bug of wanting to drive, so I just decided to head over to Panat a couple nights a week and ask a few people for a drive, and got some.
Who were the guys that kind of gave you those first drives early on in your career there?
Mick Dunn was the first one to give me a drive, and I don't really remember the other ones, to be honest.
Now, what did you learn being around there as far as just being around the horses and on the track? What were some of the early lessons you learned at the matinee level?
A lot of just putting a horse on the gate was a huge difference from training and jogging, and just being in a race and learning how to be in the flow and different things like that.
Yeah, and it must have been important as you went along. What was your first win on a matinee track? Can you remember that?
It was with Mick Dunn's horse, Island Excalibur. He just basically said, put him on the gate, let him roll.
Let him roll.
And it worked.
You sent him right down the road,
Yeah.
did you? Yeah, right on. Now, as far as the matinee tracks, Corey, in itself, you came from there. I know Mark Campbell has been there. A lot of successful guys who are now in the driving colony. How important is it for young people that are getting into the game, the matinees, just to learn there?
Oh, driving in the matinees is huge for learning. You can tell the guys that drove there and who haven't. They just know how far to be off a horse and how to be on the gate. And when they move a horse, they just look different. They sit different on a bike. It's a great program.
Now, your first parimutuel win, you move from the matinees, you go to the parimutuels, and you drive in Charlottetown and Summerside. What was your first win in parimutuel?
Hugh 2 was my first win, and I got the same instructions with him, put him on the gate and let him roll, and it worked then too.
Who was that for?
Leith and Les Wade had him.
Okay, and they're great horse people, Leith and Les Wade. I know they've had a lot of nice horses over the year. It must have been nice to kind of drive for them.
Yeah, it was good, and they were happy, and I was happy, and I still drive for them now, so
that's
it
right.
was a good relationship.
Soccer Hanover now.
Right.
Yeah. So Hugh, too, that night, just sent him right off the gate, and he liked it up there?
He said put him on the gate, and he'll do the rest, and he did.
Okay, very good. Now, you've been working at Ronnie Gass's farm now. How long?
About 10 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
now you've been out there a long time. How important being around Ronnie and Diane? I know they've had a lot of horses and great people over the years. How important is it to be there every day?
It was good. Like you say, a lot of horses, you find out a lot of problems. So you do a lot of learning with a lot of different horses, and you learn how to, use your time wisely, I guess.
Yeah, and you do it from you're there early in
Yeah.
the morning getting
Yeah.
the horses ready, and then you drive at night. So, I mean, and you've met a lot of people, I'm sure, through Ronnie and Diane.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they've had a lot of, young stake horses, and whether I drive good or drive bad, Ronnie doesn't say a lot, so that helps.
And again, you drove a trotter by the name of Waiting on a Woman. Now, I know you've driven a lot of horses over the years since you've begun driving at on PEI and in the Maritimes, but Waiting on a Woman, that horse must stand out for you.
Yeah, big time. We actually broke him at Ronnie's. Ronnie raised him, and then me and him broke him and trained him down. And right from day one, he was just a car. He was awesome, and he just followed right through.
Could you tell right away that he was going to be something extra special right then?
Yeah, real early, actually. It was like a stormy day, and I went out with just the bare minimums on him and went to go a slow mile, and I called Mitchell, and I said, this thing's fast, and he was.
And you're talking about Mitchell Turney. They must have been so happy to have such a horse like that here on the island. I mean, they don't come along very often.
No, he's once in a lifetime for us, I guess. There's another colt now that looks to be kind of the same caliber, but he's once in a lifetime for me, I'd say.
And Corey, was there something about waiting on a woman? I know he probably had a lot of different skills and talents, but was there something about him? Did he have the brush, or like what was it about him that made him a great horse?
His gait. He had a humongous gait, and he just reached. And every time you asked him to go, he'd go, and he'd just trot as fast as he could go.
And he's still racing today, actually.
Yeah, I think he won his last 2 anyway, but no, I think he's 11 now, which is really hard to believe. But
yeah, just a terrific career, and
Yeah.
I know you had him early on and did great things with him. Finally, just before we let you go tonight, I know we're getting close to race number 1. You picked a race. You had driven a lot of horses over the years. Why did you pick this specific race at Brody's Leonis tonight?
she was a special mare to us. We bought her just before my grandfather died, and I trained her, and she always did great things for me, and I got to drive her in the open mares, and she made money for us every week. And this race was huge. Like, it was a big purse, and it's the first time I won a decent-sized purse with my own horse. So
This was the open mares in Summerside a couple years ago.
Yep.
Now, the trip itself, now I know there was a ton of good mares in that race, I remember. Just describe, before we go to the tape, what were you thinking maybe 3/4, like how this was going to set up when they turned for home?
Well, I was kind of locked and blocked. I was hoping that everything would move out of the way. I think Clara was in front of me, and she kept looking over her shoulder at me. And I said, if she goes one way, I'm going the other, and I think I can get through. And it worked.
You did some serious stick handling down the lane. Did you think maybe halfway down the lane you might get there?
Well, at the head of the stretch, I knew I had a shot if I could get through, because she can finish. And when the money's down, you'll make room.
Must have felt great when you hit the wire first.
Oh, it was awesome.
Great win for Brody's Leona. Corey, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. Best of luck tonight and the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Corey MacPherson, folks, we're going to throw to Brody's Leona winning a huge race in Summerside.
Over $15,000 on the line. The top 8 in the entire East Coast today here in Summerside. West River Amber, Good Luck Kathy. Brody's Leona, Shadows Mystery, Pretty and Dangerous. Woodmere Arctic Blue, Rambling Lily, Best Risque. Showtime! There they go! Up and pacing and Rambling Lily firing out to the front for Kenny Murphy. Second into the turn. Off stride! Shadows Mystery went on the run. Rambling Lily by 2 open early. West River Amber is second. Third up the rail. That is Good Luck Kathy now in 4th. That's Pretty and Dangerous. Then 5th is Brody's Leona. 6th up the rail, Woodmere Arctic Blue. Then in 7th, that is Best Risque. Shadows Mystery may have taken herself out of it after the miskill. Opening quarter for Lily and Kenny. Boom! Just like that, 27-3. She came to play today. Rambling Lily on the engine, coming towards the half mile. West River Amber is second. Here comes Good Luck Kathy, starting to the outside third. Pretty and Dangerous, following the cover fourth. 5th on the rail, Brody's Leona. 3rd over 6th, that's Woodmere Arctic Blue. 7th is Best Risque. Trailing the field, Shadows Mystery, the opening half mile. Got a breather, 58 and 2. 30 and 4 in the second split. And Lily will go to the backstretch, the leader. Good Luck Kathy is at her wheel. In the pocket, 3rd is West River Amber. 4th on the outside, Pretty and Dangerous. Brody's Leona trapped in 5th. 3 wide 6th. That is Woodmere Arctic Blue. Shadows Mystery 7th. Best Risque on the outside 8. 3/4 in 1:28 flat. And it's Rambling Lily with an 1/8 of a mile to go. Pretty and Dangerous coming 3 high second. West River Amber 3rd. Good Luck Kathy 4th. Down the home stretch now. Rambling Lily. Pretty and Dangerous getting up on the outside. Brody's Leona has shocked them. Brody's Leona at over 30-1. MacPherson got her there. 157-3. And that's an Atlantic Age Pacing Mares final. Shocker.
This has been a special presentation. The Inside Track was presented by Red Shores.